Slum Lord, Tudor edition. Gonna make some tenants to pay me rent. Slum Lord, Tudor edition. Gonna make some dudes like this. Today we're making some dudes for Slum Lord. They are tenants to be within my apartment block. And I will show you how I make weird freaks like this and potentially even freakier. So in Slum Lord, there isn't a necessary scale or anything. My dude is about 45 millimeters, 4.5 centimeters. For you freedom people, just over, inch and a half, almost 2 inches tall. That's how big I'm doing my dudes. And we'll start off by doing a tinfoil main body shape, and then we'll cover that over. Once I've got a bit of a ball going, I want to sort of see if it's roughly the same size. It's going to be a bit smaller than he is, and of course it's going to get thicker as you start adding on putties and stuff. But I like to sort of try and smush it as tight as I can with my hand, and then I use a tool just to sort of start pressing the tin foil together and just sort of condensing it a bit. And we're roughly just trying to just get a nice blobby shape, and then I will start pressing in sort of like the nose and eye sort of indents, because then it just gives us a little bit of a surface to work at from. Can we see this on the camera? A little bit, you know, it's just getting some rough indents on this, and then when we lay over clay, it just has a bit more of a form. I like to push in a bit of a mouth as well, so I can recess the teeth. But all of this is going to be covered over. So I've got a bit of a range here. This is air dry clay over tin foil to make a base structure. It's a bit more brittle. It took overnight to dry. It's a decent starting point, but I definitely recommend using Super Sculpting if you can. This is the oven baked clay. You may have different brands where you are, but for this, although the face is really rough because I'm going to be sculpting on top, stuff like these shoes or these feet that I did came out a lot better, and they're really rock solid. So I definitely recommend using Super Sculpting as a base medium. Dennis over here, he was tin foil with milliput straight over, and so I ended up using a hell of a lot of milliput to make him. So this time round, I wanted to use something underneath to make the substructure, and so this is what we got. I'd highly recommend when you're doing your substructures to also make the feet at the same time, because then that gives you a solid platform to build up from. And so I'll show you how to make the feet now. Here I'm going to do some bare feet, and so if you can see the rough shape, I've a bit of like a teardrop. You want more of a raise at the top of the foot where it meets the ankle. I'll try to round out the back quite a bit, and then I'll just do some cuts to start off the toes. And because of my broken scalpel, just be doing it like this. And then just using a nice rounding tool, just sort of start pushing it about on that sort of roundness to the toes. And remember, you got your big toe on the inside. If you're ever wondering how to do feet, just look down. If you can see your own feet. If you can't, well, too bad, look at somebody else's feet. But it's a bit hard to do this with the camera on my lap, but you're just kind of trying to round it out. I can always add on more milliput afterwards. And I like to add like a bit of a depression in the toe as well, just to sort of be where the toenail would be. Because I always mean to come back, then add the toenail later with like another bit of like milliput or something, but I never do, so they just kind of get little hollow toenails, which is quite gross really. So quite like the ball tool to try and get some more of that footy texture in there. So So yeah, I thought I'd better just show you this in case you don't want to do like just blobs. If you want to do more feet, proper like feet. But yeah, I'll just touch those up a bit more. Touch those feet. Oh god, it's fucking creepy, isn't it? So the dude has come along. I've used some wire, some pretty thick gauge stuff. This is the same stuff I used with making chainmail. And do a little bit of a knee bend in it. Drill a hole on the top of the foot, drill a hole in the base, and then you kind of want to make them kind of equal length so then they're not too gumpy of a pose. These ones I'm doing a lot taller than little old Dennis here. Right. So starting from the feet upwards, because that's easier for me to do. If I do the legs and stuff, then I can cover it with the body later, it doesn't matter. I've got both dudes ready to go and even my bit of a bolt gun. So any leftover will go onto those. And so doing things like I'll make some eyeballs to start off with and get those setting as little balls. Because ideally if you can get the eyeballs rolled up beforehand, let them set and they're hard, it's easy to get them in and keep them actually spherical unless you're using beads, which is a really good option for doing eyeballs because they will stay the right shape. But you know me, I like it a bit rough. Time for the most important part of the whole sculpt. So you just need to get yourself two little balls, ideally one bigger than the other, or else you may have problems. And then a bit of a tube. And this is going to go right between the legs. I think, show some modesty, a bit of a circumcision. The hang a dangler. Crikey. He's going to be a happy chappy. Let's maybe use a tool to get it on. Now, if you don't add this to your space marines or stuff like that, then you're not really a war gamer. Bit of a war lamer. So, the balls are kind of hanging too far forward. So, hell yeah, hanging down to his kneecaps. Best we do this dude as well. I think he's gonna have to have one coming out the back, I think. Oh my god. Goobins, you have spawned a monster. I blame you entirely. It's massive balls. Time for some cheeky butt rubbing. I get two round bits stuck on the arse end. Use my slightly rounded tool. Just smooth that in. Once that's roughly on there, get my nice wet finger and just start smoothing it in. You can see the milliput soup starting. There's too much water, but that's fine because I'm smoothing. If you want smooth stuff in milliput, water is good for that. You just got to use it sparingly, not like this. It's all just shapes and layers at the start, and then as you get on, then you can worry about the finish of it. But this is butt too far up then. Yeah. Fucking hell. Make shit that makes you laugh. Like, that is the biggest thing I think in this hobby, is that you should make stuff that just makes you smile when you see it. And so that can be a really cool, brutal, awesome, epic model that, you know, you see that on your shelf and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. But other stuff, like this stuff, freak stuff, should just be, you see it and you're just like, oh my God, what kind of depraved individual took the time to make this thing? Like, there must be something mentally wrong with them. I haven't been tested, but I'm sure there probably is. But that's the stuff that makes me laugh, and that's what, you know, that's what keeps me creating stuff, is enjoyment, you know. Cool, look at those nice, wet, shiny booty cheeks. Caked up, as they say. Ooh, yes. I know you'll come here to watch just this one bit here, yeah. Look at that hang danglers, oh my God. Oh. So the higher I get up on the butt cheek, the more I'm trying to smooth it into the body. Oh my God. Oh. So you can see how I blended the feet more together with the Sculpey and then the middle part on top, and try to keep some of those ridges I formed in the original one. And if I start adding too much detail and it starts to sort of look too hard at the edge, just wet my finger and go back in and just give it a little wipe down. Once again, you don't want too much water like I've probably just done, but yeah, he's got nice bobbly knees. It's getting there. I'll smooth this out a bit more. Silken tools are great. Even the cheap ones do the job. As I say, right now it's more about the shapes of stuff than anything. These are going to get left to dry for a couple of hours probably, whilst I do other stuff. So, yeah, so, oh my God. Wieners are dry, it is FaceTime, and I've got these lovely reference photos up on my wall. Hey, yo! So I couldn't decide between Sly or Arnie, so I got some of both. But yeah, I think this one should hopefully go with this one, kind of. And then that one will just be more freeform. We'll go with the teeth next, and maybe add in the eyeballs, and then we can build up the nose bridge and everything else. My favourite method of doing teeth of late has been having this mouth groove and getting myself a sausage. Loves a good snag. And just cramming some in there, give them a gob full of sausage. And then we are going to work in with a sculpting tool some teethy shape. We're just going to make the lines of where the teeth should be. Let's do the verticals, and then I'll do the horizontals. Okay, so that's looking good. And then we're going to use a flatter tool. Let's see, this one. This one's kind of a round flat. And then I'm going to just sort of press the teeth a bit, just to give them a bit of edge. And you may have to redo your lines and stuff, but that's okay. So these will have lips added over the top at the end too, and so you don't have to worry too much about edges. None of this you should be worrying about. Just enjoy it, have fun. Now coming back to the eyes, so I got my ones that my balls that I set earlier. Oopa. So these are going to be fucking massive eyeballs, but that's what I like. Good pair of massive balls. So I just got a couple of lumps. I can stick them on the back. Try and find the shittiest side of the eyeball, and then just smoosh it in. I'll just get this tool and do some smooshing. so it's not too out there. The main thing is I don't want to blend it into the actual sphere, I just want to blend it into the skin. Next up, we're just going to add a bit more to the nose and just start it off with a big old lump. Bit of a triangular, slightly teardrop-ish shape. Let's just smush that on. So here I'm going to make a lip rim for this ugly dude. I think this is going to be Trenton Fitzo. That's the name I rolled up for him. So it's got a bit of Trent, a bit of Max in there. I will start down the bottom because that's where it's most needed. After this, I added some eyelids to the one dude by making a ball, cutting it in half, and so I was adding on a bit of a semicircle above the eye and then blending that in. The dudes have had a bit more time to dry, so now it's time to add more. Quick note as I'm doing the rest of my milliput. So this is my third load of it. I'm progressively cutting off smaller and smaller amounts because as I get further along and more detailed, I feel I need more time to work the material. And so early on you can cut more because you've got a lot bigger elements to do, such as the hang dangle. But as you go on, you want to use less and less and focus more time on each piece. So just so you know. Okay, Trenton's going to get the first load of loving again, and so I'll do some more bagging under the eye, try and build up that ridge, and underneath the nose, try and get more of that sly face going on, and then we'll just keep seeing where we go and probably add some strings of milliput and smooth them in to make like forehead creases, and maybe some cheek work. We'll see. And a bit of a sort of triangular shape underneath the eye. Try and match it up on each side. I do a lot of shaping with my fingers. I just find that's a more natural way for me to do it. And now we'll grab the tool and just get stuck in. Slum Lord is less of a game and more of a narrative simulator. Tanner has said in the Discord quite a few times and in the game. So, you know, it's more about creating a narrative than actually playing the mechanics so much, which is something I really love because I'm doing this now because I was inspired by seeing his tenants and just wanted to give it a try, giving a freak build a go, and hopefully this gets you guys sculpting freaks because it's a lot of fun. And if you've noticed how much I've been chuckling already at my hang danglers and all the other weird and gross things I add to these dudes, like, you know, it's a lot of fun. And I should probably say that in Slumlord, your stuff doesn't have to be weird penis freak guys like mine. You can do whatever you really want. You know, you can make it a sci-fi setting, you could make it a medieval setting. You can use whatever you want. It's agnostic, the miniature system, it's agnostic, the whole thing. You can make up your own damn rules, Tanner don't care, you know. You just, you know, it's that whole thing of having a prompt for creativity, and for me that is 100% work because, yeah, it's become a new little obsession. Turnip 28 was my obsession at the start of the year, and now it's morphed into Slum Lord, and I think that's been helped because I've got mates like Chowcalypse, Brandon. He's been really good at inspiring me into doing this as well. We had a drawing session a while back where we were both drawing little dudes, and so yeah, like having mates get into a game really does help too. Not like we can really play together anyway, but yeah, who knows, maybe we'll do some more collab stuff with that. It's time to do the armature wire, being the primary word, so I've just bored out the holes. I want to keep it fairly snug so then there's less moving. It will get glued, but we will try and form them and then insert them in. So we can get some arms on these dudes. Righty-ho, so I've done my wire armatures for the arms. So this dude's going to be dragging this bolt gun that I've been making. Most of it off camera, to be honest. Still needs a handle on it, so that's going to be attached straight to the arm. But to reinforce it, I gave it a little bit of wire that I will glue in here just to reinforce that bond. But see, this guy's going for sort of a arms dragging sort of pose. He's just going to be dragging his ass along. And this dude looks, this guy looks like he's going to do some finger guns or something with one hand and then have a knuckle dragger pose on the other. And so one thing I will note, I'm using a super heavy gauge of wire for doing this. It doesn't have to be this heavy. Brass rod is a great one. It's more malleable. But this one, yeah, it'll give me a lot of strength. Also, if you drill in the holes like this with the armature, don't adjust a heavy gauge wire like this whilst it's inside the body, otherwise you'll risk cracking and destroying what you've done. So always sort of take it out, adjust it, and then place it back in again. So I'm going to super glue these in, and then we can start sculpting up. On sculpting projects like this, I'm a big proponent of letting the sculpt inform you where it wants to go. I often start off with some references, like I have my slide poster up on the wall, but the thing is I use that for a bit of an idea and then my sculpting doesn't go as planned, so I'm like, you know, follow it. Fuck it. It'll go where it wants to go, and so my character at the end will probably look nothing like Sly, especially the big smiley dude. But I'm just having fun and letting it flow, and this is the massive thing for me right now. Just freak first and then worry about fitting it in later. I think I talked earlier about, you know, with the rule set and stuff, I think I might tweak some of my character sheets, you know, because if it already looks like he has a deformity, maybe that's just going to be added into the character sheet. So, you know, be free with it. Allow yourself to just play. Allow yourself not to have any stress with creating. This is for you. This is for you to have fun. Everybody else can go fuck themselves. Games Workshop can go fuck themselves. You know the drill. So just have fun. You will notice along the way, whilst doing the hand bits, I keep on doing the weird hand thing in front of the camera. That's so that then I can reference my own hands for sculpting hands and do the same for art and other things like that. It's a really simple thing, but we sometimes just forget about actually, hey, I'm doing a hand, let's look at my own hand to see how it works. And so, yeah, make sure you use the references in those moments when you're a bit stuck. But otherwise, yeah, just groove with it. Bridgman is a fantastic one to study in art as well as sculpture if you want to know like the sort of the shapes body parts should make up. But yeah, the arms were a bit of a process, especially I've got a couple of hands that are sort of flat on the base, and so doing a layer of clay, letting that dry, then coming back later, doing another layer, and just slowly but surely building them up. This is where we're going to leave them at. I feel like they are pretty much there. There may be a couple little tweaks I do, but I'm pretty fucking happy with these dudes. He's still a little bit wet. His foot broke off whilst I was adding too much pressure. But Trenton Fitzo is, yeah, I'm pretty stoked with him. This little dude in particular, he was just a full-on, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just making a freak for you dudes, and I think he looks fantastic. So I really like him. He's got a nice butt and back piece and all sorts. He's ready to rock and rumble. And yeah, this guy, he's a bit of a gumpy freak, but I love him all the more for it. So he's going to be dragging around his bolt gun, which will look a lot better once it's painted. He's got his little hang dangle out the back. Yeah, I think this was a pretty successful little project, and hopefully this inspires you guys to make your own little dudes. I really do hope so, because I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys do too. So get out there, get creating, and yeah, get stuck into Slum Lord, dudes.